workers' rights are under attack. What do we do? I believe that we will win.
I'm Nicole Cunningham, social worker in San Francisco. I am here because I absolutely believe in supporting every last one of us union workers. It's a shame that we have to have union fights to battle things that should be given to us. I just looked at an email that came from our deputy director, Joan Miller, that was this is Social Worker Appreciation Month, and they're saying what a great job we do and we work for the families, but yet we're not able to get fair wage increases that we have to fight for, where they want to take away some of our medical. Does that make sense? If you're congratulating us and you're thanking us for the outstanding job we do, why do we have to even protest? Why do we have to have these rallies to ask for things that we need, not want? We want to be able to live here in San Francisco, which probably 85% of the community employees does not. So that, to me, that makes no sense. That's a contradiction. So yes, I'm here on the battlefield. I'm glad to be here. I'm going to be here tomorrow too, because we have to get the word out to let you know that we will not stand for the bullying, harassment, discrimination. We're not standing for that. And the low pay, we're not going to stand for that. So I'm here to say I'm standing firm right here with the rest of my union peeps. Fight back!
My name is Brenda Barros. I work at San Francisco General. We're here today to let the city know, human resources know, let Micki Callahan know that the city workers are fed up. We're not going to take the abuse that we've been receiving, and we want something done about it, and we want something done about it now. Join us in the fight to erase racism. That is an ongoing battle we're having with the city because we feel like African Americans are being pushed out of San Francisco. They're not being hired. They're being fired more often, and that kind of thing can't happen. People's jobs are being affected. People's jobs are being eliminated, and that there seems to be no improvement at the actual work site. And we need to make that happen.
Hey, my name is John Wadsworth. I'm with SEIU 1021. I'm the vice president of the San Francisco General chapter. We're here today to represent the union workers of San Francisco and the hospital. Written a little piece I'd like to read to you. The concerns here are stopping discrimination, racism, outsourcing, and privatization of public services in the city and county of San Francisco. Equal work for equal pay, that's what we want. There's an escalating attack on African American workers, women, and senior workers in San Francisco. 2 days of special audit hearings at the BOS included report after report of racist workplace bullying, illegally discrimination, and illegal discharges. The Human Resources Director was charged with being personally involved in illegal discrimination. Over $70 million has been paid out by the city to workers, their attorneys, and city lawyers to fight charges of illegal discrimination, workplace bullying, and cover-up of corruption. Union busting, two-tier wages, outsourcing, and privatization, and the city have also sought to outsource thousands of city jobs to consultant and outside contractors. Only last month, the Civil Service Commission approved a $35 million contract to outsource child clinical care when SF city workers can provide this service and will be able to have proper oversight. They want to privatize the city clinics and many other city services. The city also is privatizing out more public work to be called so-called nonprofits or special business districts that are doing public work at 40 to 50% less wages. Some of these workers are doing city work at $15 an hour, which are slave wages. The Department of Public Health is also moving to outsource general hospital pharmacy and other services through EPIC and the LEAN program they are using to speed up and bullying to harass workers and push them out of their jobs. They refuse to back down on the Toyota plan for the city workforce, and this is seriously harming the workers and the services. Managers are using these programs to target, bully, and remove union members who challenge these programs, which have harmed those who need public services. They are also demanding that permanent civil service workers become temporary workers in new positions which is an open union busting tactic and the destruction of civil service protections. In fact, they now have city workers working next to temporary workers making 30 to 40% less. This is a two-tier system on starvation wages. They also want temporary workers with no rights who they can exploit to the hilt and have no union scheduling rights. Thank you.
Issue regarding what we have here, racism, privatization of jobs, civil service jobs, is the issue, the elephant in the room, is permanent exempt hiring. Now these permanent exempt positions are ruining the city. Why? Because nobody's willing to speak up and tell the truth, because the person who hires them can fire them and they have no civil service protections. Minimum. And we have spent the budget, this is a controller's office figure, $70 million to defend managers for wrongful terminations because they speak out or all of a sudden, for one reason or another, are not in favor of the appointing officer. So this is why we have the racism, the ageism, the privatization of public service jobs. We have street cleaners out here that work for $15 an hour when a union laborer, a person with a union, is twice that amount or more. And the city's getting richer on our backs. And the Civil Service Commission, the unions, Sandra Fewer was the only vocal person who opposed and gave us a voice to meet at City Hall to oppose the racism of civil service not hiring black and brown people. There is a reason. So the public needs to wake up. Your tax dollars are not being spent wisely. Why? Because of the empire building of certain few individuals, let's not say few, across the board, across the city, of permanent exempt hiring. If you get rid of the permanent exempt hiring, you'll more or less have a step forward. But you really people need to wake up. The excuse the DHR says, well, it delays the hiring process. There is a reason the hiring process was developed initially, is to get out the favoritism, nepotism, corruption when it comes to city hiring. And they were backward started. The nepotism, corruption is rampant, and the taxpayers are losing dollars. So the taxpayers need to wake up.
You got to get that pit bull on the throat and not let go until they go limp. Bottom line, not a threat, only a promise. You do not stop fighting for your rights. Period. I don't care what nobody say. What I say? Neck. Pit bull on the throat.
What we have is a 48-month wage progression under this new contract. However, the previous contract used to be an 18-month wage progression. And living in one of the most expensive cities in the entire United States of America, going from 18 months to max out and pay to 48 months to max out and pay is an absolute and tremendous hardship. I mean, I don't understand how or why somebody or anybody would ever go for something like that. That's just one of the many issues that has to be addressed in the upcoming negotiations. Absolutely, that's just one of many. You also mentioned Uber and Lyft. Yeah, it's the definite challenge, struggle, having to deal with Uber and Lyft taking over our designated bus stops and parking in red zones and utilizing the red carpet lanes as their personal private lanes. I mean, it's ridiculous. There's no enforcement, which is another one of my big concerns is enforcement. Why is DPT not out here, SFMTA, enforcing the rules? I mean, the red carpet lane is supposed to be for public transportation.
And why is that? Are they controlled by the tech companies? Is the city run by the billionaires?
Yes, of course the city's run by the billionaires and the millionaires, absolutely. I mean, look at right behind me what they're building. But what are they building there? High-rise condominiums? You and I are never going to be able to afford those places, even if we combine our incomes. Who is the city and county of San Francisco catering towards?
So this privatization and outsourcing, you think it should be banned? It should be an ordinance and state constitution to prevent outsourcing of public jobs?
Oh, absolutely. Are you kidding me? I mean, what's next? Automated buses? I mean, come on. This is absolutely ridiculous. Outsourcing, privatization. It's a race to the bottom. It's a race to the bottom to see who can get the cheapest labor to see who can get the cheapest work for the cheapest amount of money. I mean, it's ridiculous. With such a tremendous amount of profits coming into the city and county of San Francisco, I mean, this is just ridiculous. It's a joke. It's a complete joke.
Now, the mayor and the city have said they want a 6% budget cut, 3% this year, 3% next year. At the same time, hundreds of millions of dollars of new revenue is coming in from the new buildings, the skyscrapers, Salesforce. What does that mean to public workers when they're doing a public cut at the same time that hundreds of millions of dollars of new revenue is coming into the city?
It means that public workers are once again getting screwed over legally by the powers that be. If there's going to be any cuts whatsoever, it should be for people or individuals making over a certain amount of profit. I mean, if you're making over 120 grand, well, then you know what? Cut your salary. Cut your salary, because the majority of the workers, low income, blue collar workers that I know of, they're not making 120, 130, 140K. So you know what? Cut their salaries.
But that seems to be who they're hiring. They're getting rid of the frontline workers, bringing in temporary workers. You've got a lot of public workers doing public jobs, $15 an hour, slave labor wages, business districts. A lot of work is being done now by profit, non-profit slave labor workers.
You know what? It's gotten to the point now where we need to take drastic action. What would it Imagine what the city and county of San Francisco would look like without a bus out here. I mean, you want to race to the bottom? You're trying to exclude workers from workers' rights and from getting decent wages and pensions, etc. I'll tell you what. How about nobody comes to work? None of the 30,000 city workers come to work. Let's see how that will look. Let's see what that will look like.
And the city is, Micki Callahan, the city has paid out $90 million to workers who've been illegally fired, harassed, bullied, discharged their lawyers and city lawyers. What do you think about the $90 million that the city has paid out? And why are these people who were responsible for that, some of them were promoted for illegal actions?
Wow. It's the revolving door, right? $90 million spent on trying to protect and defend. Wow, it's absolutely astonishing, given the fact that could have gone towards a plethora of other real issues concerning residents of the city and county of San Francisco, low-income workers, blue-collar workers. This is absolutely, wow, $90 million. Wow.
Do you think Micki Callahan should be removed? She was in charge when this was happening, and there was I think you were at it, a 2-day audit hearing of the Board of Supervisors where workers said that she had personally been involved in racist actions against them. What were your ideas of that hearing? I mean, there seemed to be a lot of reporting of workers that they'd been harmed personally by her.
Let's start removing everybody in office. I mean, goodness gracious, how much more? 90 million. So what's it going to take next year? Is it going to be double? A triple? I mean, goodness.
Well, I mean, if she stays in office, that's what she's doing.
Wow. Okay. Wow. Unbelievable.
So are you for the removal of Micki Callahan, the Director of Human Resources?
I'm in favor of fresh blood, new blood, young blood, new ideas, different ideas. New times call for new measures. That's what I'm in favor of.
And you're in a struggle for democracy in your local. You've been a long time. You have a TV show to get education out.
Well, thank you.
You're on.
Mine's going to be short and sweet.
Okay.
My name is Audrey Liang. I work in Human Service Agency Investigation Unit.
What is the problem with the labor movement in this country? You think there's a top-down problem of corporatization of labor?
Oh, absolutely. It's what I have is it's a couple different programs that I have. One of them is an online YouTube channel. I have a Facebook page, one of the largest social network sites that we have as transit operators to get the word out, and just pretty much utilizing the social media, the movement of mass media in terms of getting the word out, educating our operators about what's going on and what's happening. One of the main reasons why the labor movement is going down the drains is lack of education, lack of participation, and given the fact that we have tremendous access to instant notifications through social media, we need to capitalize on that and use it to our advantage to educate our members, organize our members, mobilize our members. It's time to take drastic, radical actions. Enough talk. Let's take action. Enough talk.
I think there should be a national labor channel, live national labor channel for rallies and actions of workers to be on.
Absolutely.
What about the TWU? Are they doing that?
The TWU Local 250
International.
They have their own. They have their own channels. They have their own. Yes. They have networking, and they're on social media, and yeah, they're doing the best that they can.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
I have been harassing by the manager for so many years. He is very discrimination person. He's only pick on me in Chinese. I'm a Chinese American. But every time when I speak in Chinese, he will come out to watching you and then look at you with a very dirty eyes and mad at you and question you, what are you talking about? Most of the time, million times, discrimination a lot. But the other people speak Tagalog, Spanish, or different language. He didn't see it. He saw it but pretend not see it. It's horrible. We want to be equal. We want to fight for safety, workplace. Thank you. A co-worker come up today. Hopefully they will come up and then to speak and support our right.
My name is Tandra Lowe. I'm here for this fight today. I'm here for this fight today. Discrimination, low wages, starvation wages, as we heard before. We cannot afford to live in San Francisco. Why not? But we have the CEOs. We have human resources sitting over here on these wages, you know, and not trying to share the wealth. Why not? I've been growing up here in San Francisco, grew up here, and I have seen the discrimination here happening, the gap wages and everything else, and I'm here to fight for my right today.
Hi, my name's Robert Colby. I'm a member of SEIU 1021, and I'm a worker at the Public Library here in San Francisco. And I do have concerns about privatization. Sometimes I think other contractors are coming in and trying to provide services that traditionally have been workers that I work with. But this is the first union I've ever belonged to, and I'm very grateful that I'm able to express myself freely. But another thing, one particular situation we have is that we have a contractor who comes in who's providing services that our workers used to do quite well, and it seems to me this contractor is falling down in their work. I don't want to get too specific about it because, you know,
it's harming the public services being provided.
To me, that's the way it feels. So it feels like, you know, instead of real top-notch service for the public, which I think the people of San Francisco deserve, sometimes they're not getting top-notch service. And frankly, since I work in the library, it's good government. And I think good government's important, and people should expect that from their government. You know?
Do you think there should be a ban on outsourcing and privatization of public service jobs?
Would you say it again?
Do you think there should be a ban on the outsourcing of public service jobs, of privatization and outsourcing, bringing in consultants and basically taking over the jobs of public work?
A ban may not, you know, be the word, but we should definitely be looking at it, you know, because it's kind of interesting because a lot of the services.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Okay.
How you doing, man?
Okay. Right now we're doing an
My name is
interview.
Chris Brown.
Okay.
Okay.
So a lot of the services that are offered are from private, so it's interesting because so much of the work with librarians these days is done on the internet. So, you know, how do you separate yourself from Google, which is a powerful search engine? So, but do we give money to Google? No, you know, so I would rather see the money to go to my coworkers, who very often are part-time workers.
And how do you survive as a part-time, low-paid worker? I mean, the survival for part-time workers in San Francisco?
That's a good question. I actually have another position. My partner has a at-home business that we do, so that helps me supplement. And I do have good benefits with my union, so I'm really grateful for that. And I've got a pretty decent contract, so I'm happy about those things. But yeah, the privatization does worry me because I think it can threaten us in the long run.
My name is Charles Minster. I'm retired out of the Laborers Union Local 261 and a member of Senior and Disability Action and a supporter of the Spartacus League. I understand that the city workers have been without a contract for 18 months. Obviously, there's dissatisfaction amongst the workforce because this is the second rally in the last week and a half, and they've turned out in force to say they're dissatisfied and angry with the privatization of city services that are going on, with the lack of an increase in pay in the most expensive city in the United States, and discrimination by race and sexism that has been rampant. Had supervisory hearings over the issues. So there's more than enough reason for these workers here today to be out and demanding an improvement in their living and working conditions and a new contract. And also, it was good to see the president of Local 250A of Transport Workers Union here, and along with other members of the Transport Workers Union here in their support. And that brother has just been suspended by the union bureaucrats for a technicality as a way of allowing the out bureaucrats to get in and bargain a contract. Where it's the reason they are out bureaucrats is because they sold out the last contract. So I'm glad to see Roger Camaro here and his union brothers and sisters. And I want to end by saying that, and I'm sure the labor movement in general throughout this city stands behind the city workers in demanding they get what they need and deserve.
My name is Alan Lee Zhao. I am a Department of Public Health social worker. I am one of the bargaining team members. We have been negotiating, and we realize that when we come to bargaining, we have a lot of adjustment to make. For the last about 2 months, we have been negotiating, and we realize there's a lot of things that we are not able to go progress.
Why?
Well, that's what the management, they do. They're good at it. The management, they are not representing the people. We, the workers, representing San Francisco. But we want fair wage. Just like we said, equal work, equal pay. Especially for women like me. I'm an Asian woman. I do a lot of work, but I don't get the same pay like white men.
I thought that's illegal.
Hey, there's a lot of things illegal, but look at San Francisco. There's a lot of things illegal in San Francisco, but who is challenging them?
I'm Amy Grace Schlink. I'm here with Strength in Numbers. We're a grassroots group of San Francisco Water Department workers that are here in solidarity with everybody that's trying to fight against the racism and the sexism and the privatization and all the bullying that's happening to every one of us, all of us workers that are not connected to the big bosses. So we're here, we're fighting back. We're so happy that we're here to talk about sexism. Women that work for the city have been historically underpaid in the lowest paid classifications, and you know that that's true most of all for women of color. And all of us are fighting against the same management. The managers that try to make me work unsafely, the managers that bully me because I'm the only woman in the whole San Francisco Water Department. So we're here to make common cause. We're here to say it's all of us against the little bit, the little few at the top. And we're here because workers are really sensing our power, and we're not going to take it, and we're going to organize.
Where's the problem with outsourcing privatization?
Well, they're handing off, the water department, I can talk about that. They're handing off little by little and not so little. A lot of contracts, a lot of our work. The plumbing itself has been done by private companies on our tax dollars for a long time, and now they're handing out job classifications like they're wedding presents or something. They're handing out everything. We're having clerks work alongside consultants, and the consultants are suddenly the clerks' bosses. So they're handing what used to be permanent civil service jobs directly to private companies, and the private companies apparently get to come in and say, we want to place somebody in the water department. So it's all backwards, and it's all on our tax dollars, and it's not right.
Do you think there should be a ban on outsourcing privatization?
I think there should absolutely be a ban on outsourcing. There should be a ban on calling private contractors consultants. They're not there consulting about anything. They're stealing our jobs. They're stealing people's jobs that are here today. They're stealing the profits. This shouldn't be a profit-making situation. This should be a utility, a public resource. So we should outsourcing needs to go, privatization needs to go, and we also need to stop at-will employment, because that's the other way that they're absolutely just decimating what still exists of the civil service reforms that we fought for through affirmative action. I'm here to support SEIU rank and file members today. I'm not in SEIU, I'm a plumber, but our unions need to get behind this. Our unions need to recognize that it's more than just getting the dues. Our unions need to see that this is a massive issue for a whole lot of people, and it's becoming more and more urgent. And again, we're losing public civil service jobs that should be there and available for working class Bay Area folks, and they're being privately handed out to friends of management.
San Francisco.